What's going on, CDL fans? I wanted to do a recap of our Saturday matches because not only did we get another look at the new OpTic Texas, but we also saw a pretty interesting series with Atlanta FaZe being swept by the Carolina Royal Ravens. First series of the day, though, to cover really quick, we saw the Toronto Ultra 3-0 the Vegas Falcons. What I will say, well, number one, Ultra look great. I think they're one of the best teams in the game right now. But the Vegas Falcons, this team is literally just a few plays away every map from potentially pushing a game 4 or a game 5. Looking at the scoreboard, I mean, they were relatively consistent around the board, right? No one got absolutely slammed. No one really fried. On the side of Ultra, Kleenex, I mean, he's just that guy. Kleenex is one of the best players in the game right now, if you ask me. Kick's going a little bit positive. But this team for the Vegas Falcons is actually not as bad as we might think. They were down by over 100 points here versus Ultra on the Skyline Hardpoint, and they were able to bring it all the way back to within 40, and then, of course, they kind of choked a P2 hold and ended up losing the game. Then they go round 11 in game number 2, and they do lose it. They were this close to winning that round 11, but King of Body absolutely trolls and tries to go up the zip from underground on protocol and gets shredded by, I think it was like Joe Deceives or Kleenex that was watching that push through. There's an absolute troll play out of him, and they end up losing in the round 11. And then in the control, it wasn't particularly close. Control's definitely the mode I almost think they have to work on the most. But overall, I mean, this was pretty straightforward. I think everyone probably had Ultra winning this 3-0. But the Vegas Falcons are a team that goes up against FaZe tomorrow, which we'll talk about at the end of the video. And they're so close to potentially winning these maps, but they're just trolling and making some mistakes and big plays, especially in respawn, that are just stopping them. Our second series of the day was when we saw the new look OpTic Texas team play their second match with Huke going up against the LA Gorillas. And obviously, as you can see, they did win it in a game 5. LAG tried to pull off the reverse sweep. They were down 2-0. They won map 3. They won map 4. And they tried to do it in game 5, but just couldn't get it done. Dashy is in absolute final form, by the way. If you guys are not watching OpTic play, you absolutely should. Not only because Shotzi is easily one of the best players in the game. His first series where he had a negative KD. Dashy is truly probably the best AR. I actually think undoubtedly the best AR in the game at this moment. Kismet had himself a nice series. Even Priesta doing the most damage on his team. But Dashy, man, I mean, look at the damage, look at the kills. Only one on his team to not die in over 100 times. And a fantastic series from him. Huke got absolutely farmed in map number 1, going more than double negative. In map number 2, he went 3-8. In map number 3, he went negative. In map number 4, he went negative. But in map 5, when it really mattered most, he turned up, went 10-4, won an insane 1v2. I believe it was 4-3 or something of the sort. It was this round right here. I think they were up 4-3, and he wins it to make it 5-3. An insane 1v2 out of Huke. And OpTic Texas are definitely feeling good with Huke on the roster. On the side of LAG, these guys are 0-4. They are not really looking very good. They were up 2-0 in the control, nearly gave it up and let OpTic sweep them, but they were able to pull it out. Obviously, in map 4 here, I mean, kind of ran away with it. They had the lead pretty much the entire game, but these guys on LAG really got to figure something out because they're going into the break, 3-week break, obviously for the holidays. They have not won a game. They have a massive fan base behind them that wants to see them win. And I mean, they just got to figure something out because Kismet is actually playing relatively well. I think Lins and Skies and Priesta, Lins especially is also playing well, but Skies and Priesta have had their moments. Overall, these guys are just not finding consistency in the slaying. When Kiz is frying, Lins is going negative. When Priest is frying, Skies is going negative. It's just not looking good for LAG, if we're being honest. Now we get into the third series of the day, and I mean, this was like the series that nobody saw coming to this extent. What I will say is there were people out there who predicted Ravens were going to win this, and shout out to you if you did be a little bit bold and go for it. Obviously, Ravens were 2-0 coming into this. FaZe were 0-2. This was the first time in over 500, I think, in 80 days since FaZe has been 3-0'd. And the way the Ravens did it was dominant. A 100-point club in map 1. Tej, Vivid, farming, even Gwyn doing his thing. Slasher a little negative, but who really cares? It was not close. Like, I mean, this was just not close in any way. Hill number 2 of the first rotation to the last hill of the game, FaZe literally got 45 points. They got less than a hill's worth of points in, what is that, 6 hills? I mean, got absolutely slammed in map number 1. Map number 2 wasn't particularly close either. I mean, the FaZe fought back a little bit more, but still, it was a 6-3. Gwyn and Slasher looked like the reincarnation of T2P on the SND. And then map number 3 was a Gwyn and Tej masterclass. +10 out of Tej, +6 out of Gwyn. I mean, they ended up actually reverse sweeping the control. FaZe went up 2-0. It looked like we were going to be seeing a game 4. And then Ravens just came back and absolutely dominated. And this was just a pure clinical performance out of everybody on Ravens. The Carolina Royal Ravens actually look disgusting in pretty much every single mode. Their control might need a little bit of work, but when you look at their records, they're undefeated 5-0 in hardpoint. They're 2-1 in SND, and they're 2-1 in control. Their one SND loss, by the way, coming to the Vegas Falcons, which is kind of hilarious. Falcons and Gentlemates winning more maps on the Ravens than FaZe. But Gwyn and Tej were absolutely slamming. Gwyn is looking like he could potentially be rising himself into superstardom with how many big matches and maps he's having against other good teams as well. And this Ravens team, I think, is proving that it's not a fluke. I think they are actually going to be this good. And it's going to be fun to rank them in the power rankings, which will be coming out on Monday. But then our last series of the day, we saw the Boston Breach take on Vancouver Surge. This one was definitely one I think Boston was favored in, especially after yesterday's matches. But Surge gave them a run for their money. I mean, 3-0'd them in the vault control, which was pretty crazy. Just absolutely slammed. I mean, 12 kills out of 3 of the 4 Boston players. Great map out of Hixie. But overall on the series, it was nearly a red carpet for Surge. Nasty going even to keep that alive. And it was nearly a green carpet for Boston, other than Purge, who went -1, but still had some amazing plays throughout the match. Snoopy is the MVP, went +10. He was playing great. Awakening had big moments. Cammy had big moments. This Boston Breach team, man, I think is a top 6 team in the game. I said that yesterday after they beat Miami, and people said, nah, Boston's just gonna fall off. They're gonna be worse. And this Boston team is icy, bro. In SND, which is one of their best modes, between that and Hardpoint, they're 5-3 in HP, 5-3 in SND. Pretty bad at control, which they do have to work on. But they've gone game 5 every single series, obviously, as you can see here. They've gone game 5 every single series, and they've won 3 of the 4. Last year, they only won 2 game 5s all season. I think they went to 14 game 5s, and they went 2-12. This year, they've already won more game 5s than last season. So this team showing that they have some ice, they have some, something behind them that they could win respawns. They're good at 4 out of the 5 maps, right? They're good at Hardpoint, and they're good at SND. Control's the only thing they need to work on, but they do have a tough schedule going forward. You got an Inform Ravens team, you got a struggling FaZe team, and you have an Inform LAT team. So Boston, though, looking pretty good. I also thought this tweet was hilarious from Ronnie, aka, well, he was CDL Scrim Intel. Now he's Ronnie Intel. Nobody beats TJ Halley 19 times in a row. FaZe was basically dominating Tej every single time these guys played. And he shut them down, finally. They were able to get this 3-0 the first time in almost 600 days. FaZe has been swept, which Ravens are the real deal. FaZe got a lot to work on. But looking at the matches for tomorrow, it could be another interesting day. Toronto Ultra versus Miami. I think this should go the way of Ultra, but maybe Miami surprised us, although I'm pretty confident in an Ultra pick. FaZe versus Falcons. Both teams are 0-3. They are tied for last place in the league. I believe FaZe is technically in 10th and Falcons are in 11th. FaZe should win this, right? If FaZe don't win this series, I fear this team does not make it through the break. This will be the last match we see these 4 play together if they lose to Vegas Falcons tomorrow. That's my take on that. And also, let me know your predictions down below in the comments. Ravens versus Cloud9, though, this I think is one of the best matches of the weekend, especially given how these teams are playing. Ravens, like I said, in form, undefeated, but Cloud9, once they're on a good server, showed up and showed out on Friday, getting their first victory. It's going to be interesting to see what can happen in this series. Obviously, server-wise, I think they're going to probably play on like a Texas server, so I don't think there should be any issues for either team. I kind of think Ravens in this one, honestly. Originally, I thought C9 might be able to take this from Ravens as we were heading into the weekend, but with how everything's been going, I'm going to go Ravens on this one. And the LAT versus Rocker, I mean, I swear I'm not biased, but I'm obviously thinking Thieves on this one. Rocker could make it mixy. They really could. They look like a good team. Definitely have some upset potential in them, in my opinion, but I just think Thieves are going to outslay them like crazy. Rocker are not a team that's getting a lot of kills. Even the series they're winning, they're getting outslayed. So I think Thieves should be able to handle them relatively easily because of the slaying power of LAT. But that's a little recap of the day. Let me know what you thought about today. I really want to do the recap because not only did we get to see OpTic play again, but we saw FaZe get swept for the first time in so long. So you guys let me know what you thought about yesterday's matches and what you think about today's matches in the comments. But it's been a sick first 2 weeks of COD so far. I appreciate all the support on the videos and the watch parties recently. If you haven't subbed, make sure to sub. We're on the road to 7K before the end of the year. And hopefully I'll see y'all in the next one.